Yo, what's the deal with YouTube? I'm bringing y'all another video, man. This one's a little different, man. It's a little San Andreas video we about to conduct, man. This one is going to be covering the Ballas, man. I've been hearing and seeing people's perspectives on GTA San Andreas and people saying, oh yeah, well, this game was that and that game was this. As far as like power, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about what they are IRL. That's a whole separate topic, man. I'm gonna talk about how people's misunderstanding of how they feel like the Ballas were like the strongest gang in GTA San Andreas. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go down and I'm not gonna put the gangs in any type of order other than which gang was how I feel as far as age wise, like the youngest gang going up to the oldest baller gang from San Andreas. And I'm starting with the Ballas because they're probably the most controversial, I believe, because I feel like a lot of people speak highly of the San Andreas Ballas, but I see it in a whole different light, man.
Hey, let's meet up next week. I'll remember.
So right now, man, as you can see, I'm in Verona right now. Right, this Verona beach. Now, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people believe that Temple Drive Ballas turf is like in Temple, but no, it's not. Temple Drive Ballas turf is Verona Beach. And I know it's Verona Beach because I did my research, man. I'm not making up anything. I went and did my research. I fired up a fresh game of San Andreas, the original version, not the definitive edition. I fired up a new game save, and as soon as I got dropped off my 10 penny, they threw me in the alleyway over there in Jefferson. I stole a car and came over here to figure out, because I was never really spun up on like the Temple Drive side, the families and Ballas. Because as we all know, Temple Drive Ballas and families are actually official gangs in San Andreas. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Now, Temple Drive Ballas, when you come over here at the beginning of the game, Temple Drive Ballas are only in this area in Verona Beach. They're not up there in Temple, like in the north. A lot of people feel like that's Temple. It's a north or Vinewood type hood. No, Temple Drive is a west side, like a beachfront hood. So at GTA 5, that turf will be probably like Vespucci or something like that. But we're not talking about GTA 5. We're keeping it GTA San Andreas. Now, yeah, I'll show you the map, man. And this turf over here, when you first do the forget the name of the mission, when you gotta take over Glen Park. When you take over Glen Park from Kilo Trade, this turf over here is purple, right? So it's TDB turf, and I'm starting with TDB because I feel like TDB is probably the youngest set out of the Ballas in San Andreas. With them being on the west side, I feel like, and them being the furthest away from the other Ballas, it would only make sense. There's really nothing that like facts that back that up. You know what I'm saying? This is for this one, it's speculation. I feel like Temple Drive will be last because they're the furthest away, the same as Temple Drive families is the youngest of the fams. So Temple Drive Ballas will be the youngest set. Then there's San Andreas, right? The only time you really see TDB in GTA San Andreas is in that mission where you gotta go when you're over at the cemetery, when you go meet up with Sweet and Ryder and Kendall at the cemetery, and that baller car pulls up. And that baller car pulls up and starts doing a drive-by, and you gotta get on the bike and ride back to Grove Street. That car, if you look at the direction that car comes from, the direction where I'm standing at comes from the south, right? The cemetery is straight up above in front of me. Just head north, and you'll bump into the cemetery, and you'll bump into Temple Drive Family's turf. Temple Drive Family's own Temple. They do lose it at some point. Obviously, all the fams lose their turf. That's how the game plays out. But uh, Temple Drive Ballers, yeah, and that mission right there, that's probably one of the only times you'll probably see them in San Andreas. But I will say for them, I'm gonna rank them, man, as a decent set in the game. Probably the youngest. They did get it cracking. They came through. They got blasting on CJ and Sweet and all them. Takes them all the way back to Grove Street. As far as the ball is concerned, that was a +1 for the baller team right there with TDB. As far as like members wise, nobody knows. It's all speculation of how many members Temple Drive has. I mean, they have a pretty big turf over here in Verona Beach, so I mean, they could be a big set. New don't mean that you're small. New is just, that's it. It's just a newer turf, but they seem active. They do get it cracking. They're not afraid to get it cracking. So TDB is kind of up there on the list as far as San Andreas ballers. I'm gonna move on to the next set, man. Man, this next set, I feel like it's the next youngest of the baller sets, man, from San Andreas. And this is Willowfield. This hood is one of the, I want to say it's the only hood with 2 hoods. The only set with 2 hoods. And that's because they have to lose one of their hoods because of the story mission. That's probably the only reason that they have 2 hoods. And obviously I'm talking about Kilo Trade Ballers, right? Kilo Trade Ballers' main hood is Willowfield, West Willowfield. So the part that's right below Gang. And there is no such thing as South Gang. Gang is just gang, but Gang is just 2 strips.
Long time no see, who's?
Yeah, and both of them belong to fams. But yeah, anyway, Kilo Trade Ballers, they have Glen Park as a secondary hood and Willowfield. Kilo Trade, I will say, man, I'm trying to do this without spoiling it, but it's really hard not to. The Kilo Trade Ballers, I think, are probably the most active gang in San Andreas storyline. Because if you think about it, man, they do the most damage, bro. They're mentioned on multiple occasions, and they actually get it cracking. They do the drive-by. When you gotta chase them when they're doing when they're at the Clucking Bell, right? Doing the infamous order at the Clucking Bell, and Big Smoke eating everybody's food, but you gotta chase Kilo Trey back to Grove Street before they kill some of the homies on Grove Street, right? And I'm trying to think, that's another time Kilo Trey gets active. They get active a couple times. Obviously, you got the mission in Glen Park that they go over there and get it cracking. Make sure I don't want to miss now. Yeah, Glen Park. I'm pretty sure they're involved at the end of the game when you do the, well, not the end of the game, but when you do the ambush on Grove Street, and the ballers start attacking after the house party. So yeah, Kilo Trades and have a part in that. So they're pretty busy set, man. Probably the most trigger happy set. Yeah, they're the shooters, man. I feel like they're the shooters of the ballers in San Andreas. That's mainly what they're known for. I don't know, having 2 hoods that really been holding some weight down, I guess, and expanding. So with them and Temple Drive being the youngest and probably most active sets, man, that makes sense, man. The youngsters out here putting in that work, man. Well, TDB doesn't have any OGs that's mentioned in the story, but Kilo Trey has the OGs. Then you have Beat Up that's over there. And what's the other dude? Lil Weasel or something like that. So they have OGs mentioned. That's pretty cool, I guess, in the lore aspect. And like I said, this video is not aimed at no particular console crew or no player-based crew, man. This is strictly for the games NPC wise. I don't want nobody be in their feelings. Oh, you trying to be funny with the video? Wow. No, this is just the way I see San Andreas, man. Just because, like I said, I see a lot of people hyping up the Ballas, man, a lot about the power and structure. But so far, man, touched on these two trigger happy sets, man. That's what they were. They were some riders and sliders. I give them that for what it's worth. Yeah, not too much else to say about Kilo Trade, man. I mean, they took their L's and they got a little W here and there, right? But yeah, we're gonna move on to the next set. Now, as we all know, in San Andreas, it's only 4 sets, right, for the Ballas. I'm gonna do a separate video too for like the Latino games and the fams, because there's some stuff, man, that I didn't even know about the fams, but we'll save that for those videos. But yeah, there's 4 sets, so these 2 being the youngest, there's only 2 left. So the next one, I'm gonna say, as far as what I believe, as far as order of youngest to oldest, we'll head over there, man. Alright, man. So yeah, next one. It's obvious, it's Big Smokehouse. Big Smoke is not from this hood. Contrary to popular belief. And that's another thing, man. Like, I don't understand why some baller people or baller fans or whatever, they try to categorize Big Smoke and Ryder as ballers. Them dudes never was ballers, man. They never switched sides. They were fams to their death. Did they betray the families? I never looked at Big Smoke as betraying the fams. I feel like Big Smoke and Ryder betrayed the Johnson family. And I say that because when Big Smoke's empire, when CJ goes out there in the woods and all of that, he got to go to San Fierro, and you get those missions where you got to intercept Big Smoke's packages. Those are fams driving those Hummers, man. So the fams were still helping Big Smoke when CJ was gone and Sweet was in jail. So they never switched, bro. I don't know why people ballers be showing love to Big Smoke. Like, I don't know. You know, it's like weird, bro. Why would you show love to the people that was there to kill y'all homie? What's his name? Baller Kane from Front Yard. Speaking of Front Yard, yeah, that's where we at. But Kane got smoked. That's probably the most embarrassing death ever in GTA history, bro. You got killed at a funeral. I don't want to say that word again. Like I said, I'm trying to clean up my language. But you know what I'm saying, bro. You got smoked. You had armor on and all that. You supposed to be tough, some big Front Yard OG, and you got laid out. And then you, I don't know, Baller Kane. Yeah, man, it's funny. It's quite embarrassing though, but yeah. So yeah, next up, man, Front Yard. So yeah, I would say Front Yard is probably would have been the second baller set. And I know some people believe that it's the first. Oh, Front Yard was the first baller set. No. Because at one point Grove owned all of this. Even the Crystal Gardens. Grove Street owned it. Because when you do the missions and you play the game and you listen to them talk, they talk about, man, the hood and all of this and that. At least up until this street. I'm gonna say up until this street right here that I'm on was Grove Street turf at one point. So it couldn't have been. So Front Yard couldn't have been the first ballers because Grove Street owned their hood. So where was Front Yard's hood before that? Right? But anyway, we talking about rankings and structures. So TDB, you really don't have much to go off on them. They had one little scene where they did a drive-by, they did their thing, and after that, you don't really see them no more. Kilo Trey, Trigger Happy, they had 2 hoods. They was in multiple interactions during the story, and the gang portion of the game is kind of short too, to be honest. After Sweet goes to jail and shit, the gang's become irrelevant to the end of the game. So, but in these first few missions, like what, 20 missions or whatever, Kilo Trey is probably the biggest factor. These guys right here, Front Yard, and like I said, I'm not trying to be funny, man. I'm not trying to be funny, but I personally feel like Front Yard is a fucking joke, man. Front Yard Ballas is a fucking joke in San Andreas. And I say that, Now hear me out, man. Before y'all get off, what you mean, Front Yard? They was a joke, bro. Think about it. Hold on, let me get in the car. Let me get in the car and go on the other side. I'll be right back. So, right, this right here is gonna tell you why Front Yard is a joke. One, Ryder and CJ comes over here very comfortable, bro. They not tripping, they not worried about nobody. They come over here, post up in quote unquote Front Yard hood, which they call it their own hood at some point, I believe. Cause Ryder's like, hey man, you know, Sweet been going on about that graffiti and all that in the hood. So how's this grocery hood? Like I said, I'm pretty sure Crystal Gardens was grocery turf at one point. But anyway, they come over here, get some pizza, do all that crazy stuff they do over here. Not even worried about the Ballas. They all in this Front Yard turf. And they posted up, chilling, doing whatever the fuck they feel like it. Like it's their hood, bro. Comfortable. Feet up. Ballas don't do nothing while they over here doing that cutscene. We gonna slide around the corner. We gonna slide around the corner. And the reason I have more to say about Front Yard than the other ones was because they had more interactions, like missions or whatever. So you know this spot. You know this spot right here. You know this spot right here, bro. If you never played the game, go in this door. The events that happen right here in this building proves to you that Front Yard was part of the wiki set, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Them boys walk right over here. Not even worried, not even tripping, not even stressing. Walk right in your crack den, smoke everybody, beat the shit out of everybody, smoke everybody in there, and walk out untouched. And Front Yard never got no get back. Cause Kane got killed. After that, Kane got smoked. This happened. Kane got smoked. Y'all dope dealers got beat up. Yeah, I hit that. Like, that's all. Front in San Andreas, Front Yard was just some victims. They were just getting victimized the whole time.
Hello?
But they were the second Ballas. In my opinion, they were the second Ballas. Alright, so that only leaves one left. So we'll head over there, man.
No, sir. My name is not Brad either.
Alright, so last but not least, we all know where we at, man. It's where you get dropped off. It's where you get dropped off in the beginning of the game, bro. It's where you get dropped off in the beginning of the game, man, Jefferson, right? Home of the Rolling Heights Ballas. Rolling Heights Baller Country, yeah. Other than that, man, what does Rolling Heights do in San Andreas? They don't really do much of nothing, bro. I will say they probably the oldest gang, the oldest baller set, the biggest turf. Other than having Other than Kilo Trey having two hoods, I feel like Rolling Heights is probably the biggest set, being the oldest, because they have parts of East Los Santos, and they have all of Jefferson, and even down by the skate park by Glen Park. That hood was probably shared with Kilo Trey, and Kilo Trey pretty sure split from them, you know, for whatever reason, however the Ballas lore goes. But this is the way I see it, man. A lot of people say the Ballas were like the top gang. The Ballas was not on nothing, bro, in San Andreas. Like, I don't see how y'all figure that the Ballas was running stuff in San Andreas. Like at what point was the Ballas calling shots? This is me waiting for the answer. They never was calling shots, bro. There's a reason why, and this is why I say front yard is probably the weakest, because why else would Big Smoke feel so comfortable over there? Because they knew front yard wasn't going to do shit to Big Smoke. Kilo Trey, you couldn't put Big Smoke in Kilo Trey hood. They probably would have killed him, right? Some youngsters, wild niggas. TDB probably the same. They're like, all right, let's set up Big Smoke in Temple Drive hood over there in Verona Beach. Smoke probably would have got smoked, because they were some young wild niggas. TDB was some young wild niggas. Kilo Trey was some young wild niggas. So now you got the old niggas. Rolling Heights. But Rolling Heights, they trying to think about money, right? So they like, all right, cool. You got Big Smoke's crack den right in your hood. Big Smoke's crack den right in your hood. Why not put one of your OGs in place of Big Smoke from Grove Street? Big Smoke is a Grove Street fan. Why not put Kane or anybody else with a Lil Weasel or who else? And then, I mean, you can't count B-Dub, because B-Dub was a hood hopper. He was a crew hopper. You know what I mean? As we say in the SEC, a crew hopper. So you can't trust B-Dub, because he has no loyalty. He switched sides. He don't wear his colors no more. Smoke always wore his colors. And Ryder. And Ryder was just a Sherm head. But he was down for the Grove till he died, bro. You can't say differently. But ask yourself this: why is Big Smoke so comfortable being in front yard hood in Idlewood? Because he knew they weren't gonna do shit. The Ballas was not calling shots. Tenpenny and Big Smoke was calling shots, bro. If you don't believe me, play the game again, bro. And don't look at it from a kid's perspective, a fan's perspective. Look at it from an actual criminal organization. Like, all right, I got this crooked cop, pulling all the strings. So why he gonna place Big Smoke? He could just kill Big Smoke. He could have just killed Big Smoke and put Kane up there. But what's the point of that, right? Because if Ballas was so strong and Ballas was calling the shots, why not put a baller at the top of your organization? Because Tenpenny knew the Ballas was weak as fuck, just like I do, bro. San Andreas Ballas was weak as fuck, man. It is what it is, man. I mean, I'm gonna say they're not as strong as people try to portray it. I'm gonna just say that. And they did have the shooters, like I said, Kilo Trey and Temple Drive. The only action Rolling Heights had was probably the bridge when they go after the party. That one mission where they come, and I think that was like 3 gangs attacking at once. It could have been all 4. TDB could have been there too. I don't know. But you just look at the directions that the gangs come from. I'm pretty sure it was Rolling Heights coming at the top of the bridge, front yard coming down the street, and Kilo Trey coming from the Willowfield side, the back alley. But yeah, man, that's just how I see it, bro. I don't see it as, oh man, the Ballas was running everything. I don't know, because I just don't understand how you gonna let your enemy be in your hood that comfortable, bro. And maybe that's why y'all tricked yourself into believing that Big Smoke was a baller, to make yourself sleep better at night. But he was never a baller, bro. Them niggas put a fam in charge of the organization. Remember that. And don't forget, it wasn't the Ballas that took down CJ and Sweet and the fams. It was LSPD. It was a crash. At the Jefferson Motel and the Mahala Inn or whatever, both of those situations was LSPD. Ballas had nothing to do with that. So I see in these little forums and chat groups and all of that, and they be like, yeah, the Ballas do it. But nah, bro, it was basically fans versus LSPD. The Ballas was just there to be punching bags and shooting practice, man. Like, let's be honest, bro. That's what they were there for. LSPD shut down the fans and allowed the Ballas to come out and take over the hoods until CJ came back at the end of the game and whooped heads, you know. But that's how it played out, man. That's the way I see it, man. I don't know. If you agree, I want to see who agrees with me. I know there's a lot of people that disagree, but I want to see if there's anybody out there that say, yeah, man, I've seen it from this perspective. Because I feel like it's I don't know, it's an easy one. It's an easy one. And like I said, it ain't to pick on nobody's GTA crew that they have on console and all of that, or your favorite gang. Like I said, this is just my perspective of how I see each gang in San Andreas, bro. I'ma do the fams too. I'ma do the fams. But yeah, the fams and Ballas, but the Ballas had to be first, man. Cause I feel like they're the most controversial, bro. And they wasn't on shit. So yeah, that's it, man. Stay tuned for the fam video. I'm gonna do the Latino one next though. Cause I you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna just do that one. Get that one out of the way. Do the fams last. Say the best for last, man. Do the fams last though. Now we got people loading in here. I ain't gonna tell y'all what the name of this server is. Cause we ain't even supposed to be in here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all be telling. Stop telling, man. Stop snitching. Stop reporting. Hey, to you little. Ooh, I want to say the word. I'm gonna say the word. You know the word. You know the word I want to call you. To you motherfuckers. Stop reporting people, bro. The 5M, bro. Cut that shit out, bro. It's weird, bro. You grown men reporting other grown men on a video game. Weird, bro. Cut it out.